Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. Hope you're having a good day. Today is our last day with adding and subtracting integers. We're going to summarize everything we've done, look at a couple of maybe problem-solving kind of situations, and take it from there. So we started off on Monday earlier in the week, looking at what integers are. They're positive and negative whole numbers and zero. Talked about our integer model, shaded and unshaded. For positives and negatives, and a positive and negative cancel each other out. We talked about how when you have integers with the same sign, you add them and use the sign that they have in common. We talked about when you have integers with a different sign, like a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, you subtract them and you use the sign of the larger integer. We summarized all those. We looked at subtracting integers when you have a minus a negative or a minus a positive, and you have to add the opposite, which we can remember by saying keep, change, flip. We did a little summary of all those different situations. That's where we're at so far. What I want to do today is just wrap this up by looking at some problems and some different kinds of questions. So what I put here is try these, and I said, give ways to show each of the following. Well, give 3 ways to show negative 1. Well, I could do negative 1 plus 0 equals negative 1. I could do negative 2 positive 1 equals negative 1. Or, if I wanted to really get fancy, I could do something like negative 4 subtract negative 3 equals negative 1, because negative 4 subtract negative 3 means negative 4 plus 3. So doing these kinds of questions gives you a way to be a little creative. How could I show positive 8? Well, I could show 4 plus 4. Or I could show 16 plus negative 8. Or I could show, what's another one? I could show 1008 plus negative 1000. And all of those would equal positive 8. What are 3 questions I could use to make negative 15? Well, I could do negative 10, negative 5. I could do negative 8 plus negative 7. Or I could think of 2 different integers. I could say negative 20, positive 5. All of these guys equal negative 15. So questions like this give you a chance to be creative. It's sort of like backwards. You start with the answer. What's a question you could make to get the answer? Okay, let's look at some questions. We've actually done questions like this before, but I wanted to review a couple. When you have more than 2 integers. Well, I think the idea here is to do 2 integers at a time. So number 1, you have negative 11, positive 9, take away negative 11. Well, I would start off with 8 negatives and 9 positives, so sign in front of the integer goes with the integer. That equals positive 1. I'll just write it as 1. And then I still have the minus negative 11. Well, we have our minus a minus. So I would do 1, add the opposite, plus 11. And that equals 12. So when you get more than 2 integers at a time, do them in parts, right? Don't try to do it all at once. Do it in parts. How about 4 integers? Negative 1, negative 3, negative 8, take away negative 12. Well, I could do negative 1 and negative 3. And you know what? Just for kicks and giggles, negative 8. They all have the same sign, so I add them up, and that works out to negative 12. And then I still have subtract negative 12. That means add the opposite. So negative 12, keep that the same. Change minus to plus, and flip negative 12 to positive 12. And now I have 12 negatives and 12 positives. The signs are different, so I subtract them, and I get 0. And 0 is always just 0. It can't be negative, it can't be positive. So whenever you have more than two integers, do them in parts. Okay. Last question. We haven't done many word problems, and the idea with word problems is you want to be able to show your thinking. Currently, the temperature in Cancun is 26 degrees Celsius. Cancun. Would it not be nice to go there? And the temperature in Winnipeg is negative 18 degrees Celsius. What is the difference in their temperatures? What is the difference? What is the space between their temperatures? Now, remember, with word problems, we want to be able to show our thinking. And what better way to show your thinking, or some of your thinking, by drawing some sort of diagram? So I'm going to draw a number line. I'm going to draw a better number line than that, though. Okay. And in the middle, I'm going to put 0. I'm not going to put every single number on here. That might be a little much, but I'm just going to estimate. I'm going to say maybe negative 18 degrees Celsius is right there. That's Winnipeg. I'll put a W for Winnipeg to make my thinking a little bit more visible. And then over here on the positive side, I have Cancun. That's positive 26 degrees Celsius. Positive 26. So to get the answer to the problem, I need to find the space between these two temperatures. Well, the space between Winnipeg and 0, I'm going to say, is 18 degrees Celsius, right? And the space between 0 and Cancun would be 26 degrees Celsius. So the way to get this space between the two temperatures is just to add up those distances. So I'm going to add up 26 plus 18. 6 and 8 is 14, carry the 1. That's 4. Okay, so what's the difference in their temperatures? The temperature difference? Is 44 degrees Celsius. So difference means the space between the two temperatures. So I was able to visualize what it looked like by drawing that on a number line and comparing the space between them. And then I did a little mathematics to figure out the answer. So if you ever encounter any integer word problems, it might be a good idea to do a number line. Make sure you show your thinking. Show all of your calculations. I hope that sort of summarizes everything for integers. That's all for now. I wish I was in Cancun. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.